Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I don't do this kind of content often as I usually make animations, but I wanted to try something different. I hope you like it, and without further ado, let's begin. This is a story about skinwalkers. I know. Another skinwalker story. But I'm sure this story will give you chills. Growing up, my grandmother always warned me about the skinwalkers. They wear the faces of the ones you love, she said, but their eyes give them away. Never trust the eyes. I used to laugh it off. Superstitions, I thought, until last night. I was driving home late from work, the moon hanging low and full over the empty desert road. The air felt heavier than usual, pressing against my chest as my headlights cut through the darkness. That's when I saw it, a figure standing in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, my tires screeching against the asphalt. The figure didn't move, didn't flinch, just stared as the car came to a halt a few feet away. It was a woman, long black hair, pale skin, wearing a torn, dirt-streaked dress. She looked familiar, too familiar. My heart stopped when I realized who it was. My sister, Jenny. She'd gone missing 3 years ago. I threw the car into park and jumped out, tears already streaming down my face. "Jenny," I called out, my voice cracking. She just stood there, her back slightly hunched, her head tilted unnaturally to one side. "Help me," she said, her voice a low, guttural rasp. "Please." I ran to her, arms outstretched, but as I got closer, something wasn't right. Her face, it looked like Jenny's, but wrong. The features were stretched, her mouth too wide, her eyes too large, and her eyes, they were pitch black, reflecting the moonlight like a predator's. I stopped dead in my tracks. Every instinct screamed at me to run. "Jenny?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. The thing that wore her face grinned, its teeth too many, too sharp. "You look surprised," it said, its voice a sickening mix of Jenny's and something ancient, something inhuman. Its body twisted, bones snapping and reforming as it dropped onto all fours. Its limbs stretched unnaturally, claws sprouting from its fingers as its grin widened. I turned and bolted to the car, my lungs burning as I fumbled with the door handle. Behind me, I could hear it galloping, its claws scraping against the road. I barely managed to throw myself inside and lock the doors before it slammed into the side of the car. The windows shook as its face appeared at the driver's side window, grinning at me, its black eyes burning with hunger. "Let me in," it crooned, its voice sickly sweet now. "It's me, Jenny. Don't you love me?" I screamed, throwing the car into drive and flooring it. The thing kept pace, its claws raking across the side of the car, leaving deep, jagged grooves. It chased me for what felt like miles until, finally, it stopped. I looked in the rearview mirror, and it just stood there, watching, grinning, as I disappeared into the night. When I got home, I locked every door, every window, and sat in the corner of my room clutching a knife. But it didn't matter, because now, as I write this, I can hear her voice again. Soft, pleading, coming from outside my bedroom window. "Let me in. It's me, Jenny." I've always hated mirrors at night. There's something about the darkness reflected back at me that feels wrong. But last night, I couldn't avoid it. My bathroom mirror faces the door, and as I brushed my teeth, I kept my eyes firmly on the sink, refusing to glance up. The house was silent, the kind of silence that presses down on you. As I leaned over the sink to spit out toothpaste, I felt a chill creep down my spine. Something felt off, like I wasn't alone. Slowly, reluctantly, I looked up. At first, everything seemed normal. My reflection stared back at me, wide-eyed and pale, matching my unease. But then, as I turned to grab a towel, I saw it. Out of the corner of my eye, my reflection didn't move. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. Slowly, I turned back to the mirror. My reflection stood still, its head tilted slightly, its lips curling into a grin that wasn't mine. I stumbled back, knocking over a glass on the counter, but the sound barely registered. The reflection took a step forward, closer to the glass, its grin widening. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, as it pressed its hand against the inside of the mirror, as though testing the barrier. Then it spoke, its voice low and distorted, like a whisper heard underwater. "It's cold in here," it said, its grin splitting impossibly wide. "Let me out." I bolted from the bathroom, slamming the door behind me. I didn't sleep that night. This morning, I worked up the courage to check the mirror. It was just me, pale and tired, staring back. But as I turned to leave, I swear I saw it again, the faintest flicker of a grin that wasn't mine. It started when I moved into my new apartment. It was a cheap place in an old building, the kind of deal that seems too good to be true. I should have known better. The first few nights were normal, quiet, even peaceful. But on the fourth night, I noticed something strange. There was a door in the hallway that I hadn't seen before. It was small, narrow, and painted the same color as the walls, as if someone had tried to hide it. At first, I thought I must have just missed it during the move-in. But the thing was, it didn't lead anywhere. I opened it, expecting a closet or some storage space, but there was only a solid brick wall behind it. Weird, but not impossible in a place this old, right? That night, I woke up to a sound. A soft scratching, like nails on wood. It was coming from the door. I froze, my heart racing, but I told myself it was just mice or something. I didn't get up to check. The next day, the door was slightly open. Not much, just a crack. I was sure I had closed it, but maybe I was wrong. I shut it firmly and went about my day. By the time night fell, the scratching had started again. Louder this time, more insistent. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to ignore it. Around 3 a.m., I heard a soft click. The door had opened on its own. I crept into the hallway, my pulse pounding in my ears. The door was wide open now, and the brick wall was gone. In its place was a dark, narrow passage stretching into nothingness. "Hello," I whispered, though I didn't know why I spoke. My voice echoed back, distorted, like something was repeating it from far away. I should have closed the door. I should have left. But something drew me closer. I stepped into the doorway, peering into the black. That's when I saw it. Eyes. Dozens of them, glowing faintly in the dark, staring back at me. A hand reached out, long and thin with too many fingers. It gripped the edge of the doorframe, and a voice whispered, low and guttural. "You opened it. Now you can't close it." I slammed the door and ran back to my bedroom. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. This morning, the door was gone. Just a blank wall where it used to be. But sometimes, when I walk past that spot, I hear the scratching again, and I know it's waiting.